good? All right. Welcome, everyone, to the presentation of our guest speaker, Alisar Nasrallah. She is going to give a presentation that is very unique and very interesting and very captivating. And it's about the humanity behind business, right? Oftentimes in business, we get caught up in the numbers and profit and revenue, and sure, that's important. That's part of a business, right? But it's important to realize when you stop and think about what's that department that deals with people, what is it usually called? What kind of resources? It starts with an H. Human resources, right. So the title of your presentation?
What we have learned to forget, the human behind the business.
There's that word again, human, right? So she's going to give a very interesting talk, and I think it might give you a different perspective on business. And at the end, I know some of you who are in my class, I know that you prepared questions for her. So after the end of her presentation, you can ask her those questions. And then if anybody else who's joining us who isn't in the Marketing 200 class, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask those as well. And as a quick aside, should we tell them how we met?
Yes.
Okay, so some of you know this story, but Alisar and I met about a year and a half ago, I guess it is, in October of 2015 on the set of Star Trek Beyond. So Alisar and I were both extras on the Star Trek movie. And I just, by dumb luck, through the notification or the information I got from a fellow extra who saw me on the screen, he told me he saw me about 10 minutes in, and when I had watched the movie, I didn't even see myself. And so I somehow managed to find a clip online, and I watched like frame by frame by frame for like forever. And I finally found me walking in this one scene for about a second and a half, and guess who's walking next to me?
A second and a half?
It's about a second and a half.
It was less than a second.
Okay,
no?
maybe it was less than a second. It's Hollywood. I have to exaggerate things, right? It was 10 minutes, but I think you were on set about the same period of time. How long were you on the movie set?
For 2 days.
Okay, so you were on for 2 days.
Yeah.
So she was there for 2 days. I don't know how many hours total.
I don't know. The second day was too long. It was more than. It was 16 hours, maybe.
I think I remember being on set about 18 hours. By the time I got done taking off my costume, which, for those of you who don't know, I had 4 arms in my costume, but you can't really see that part.
Yeah.
And you had like a yellow outfit on or something.
Yeah, it was a very, very ugly, ugly outfit.
But that's what actually helped me identify it as you, because when I realized it, I realized she was standing next to me, so I sent her. I did a screenshot, and we were very excited that for all that effort. 1 second of internet and movie fame. So anyway, so that's how we met, and we've become good colleagues and friends ever since that point. And it's really my pleasure to have her here. This is really an interesting topic and a really interesting presentation, and I hope it opens your minds and gives you guys some interesting perspectives on business. So without further ado, I will let you do your thing. Do you have everything you need?
Thank you. Yes,
okay,
I do.
Excellent.
I just want a pen. Thank you.
Oh, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Matthew. And the pleasure is mine to be here among you today. First of all, how are you all? Good? Good. Okay, my name is Alisar Nasrallah, and I think I see some familiar faces who have attended the first lecture. Only one, right? Yeah. Okay, then for everyone else new, I have the same question that I asked your colleagues last time. I want to know if you think that we live in an ethical business world. Yes, no, why? Or let's make it a bit general, because not everyone is working. So do you think we live in an ethical world? Yes, no, why?
No.
We live in an ethical world?
No. Before we had no technology, then we changed technology and we just do something new.
Okay. And it's made it less ethical, you mean? Yeah?
Now things keep changing. That's life. Things change.
That's true. Things change. Yes, it's better. Yeah. That's true. But then technology changed it?
Yeah.
Changed it? Yeah. Okay. But we're talking about ethics. Do you think that we live in an ethical world?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that's great. What do you think? You had an opinion next to you. Yes.
Okay, I don't think we live in an ethical life world. You can because the people have become like competitor in the job life, and like they would how can I say it? They don't care about their other friend feelings, or they can harm them in any other way. So
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Yes, no? What do you think? Yes. I'm not a doctor. Ali Saad.
We live in a place like mostly if you enter politics or society, mostly like people they adore hurting each other, especially country to country. So I think people change to worse most of the time.
Okay.
So only few they're good and mostly they're bad. So you don't know what's going on through the person's mind. So that's my point.
Thank you very much for your opinion. Thank you. Anyone has another opinion? We're going to go into the research. Thank you very much. We're going to go into research that was done by PEW Research Center in 2010. And basically, the research was about asking the 4 last generations about their opinion, or about basically what they perceived unique in their own generation. Okay? And the study was interesting from an ethical point of view. Why? Because the first 2 generations, first of all, the 4th generations are silent, born between 1925 to 1945, baby boomers born between 1946 to 1963, Generation X born between 1964 and 1979, millennials, aka Generation Y, aka us, born between 1980 to 2000. So basically, a bunch of researchers asked some people of each generation to tell them what they perceived unique in their own attributes. They asked them to list the 5 top unique attributes of their own generation. And what's interesting is the first 2 generations has 3 out of 5 unique attributes related to ethics. The 3rd generation had 2 out of 5 attributes related to ethics. And our generation, of course, had 1 attribute related to ethics. So basically, we had just 1 in the top ranked unique attributes that we perceive. And for us not to perceive ethics as unique, it means that we're not focusing on it that much, or that it's not that important. And this is exactly what's alarming, because how come ethics is not important when ethics is basically the basic of life? Ethics is how we conduct ourselves, is how I deal with you, how you deal with me, and how I am. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, we're going to go on blaming all the governments and all the corporations, big entities on this job. We can do that. But at the end of the day, who is behind business and who is behind these big corporations? Who is behind the government entities? Who's the decision maker behind all these? It's us. Exactly. It's us. It's us individuals. We are behind all of this. We are the core, and this is what we have forgotten today. We have forgotten that we are behind business and behind everything. And this is what we're going to be talking about. At the end of the day, business was made by people and for people. It was made for us. And we have forgotten that. So today, it's going to be very, very simplistic, okay? It's basically my opinion that I'd like to share of why we have forgotten what's behind the business and what can we do to fix it. Okay, so we're going to go through the reasons first. The first reason is me in business versus me in personal. And the second reason is twisted strategies. The first one is more of me, myself, and I. And the second one is more of me and how I work with others. And the first one is basically covers how we have divided our life into 2 sections, which are business and personal. And the second one is more of what we have learned as strategies on how we will succeed in business. Okay? So, the first one, me in business versus me in personal. You've of course heard people telling you, don't bring your work problems with you to the house, and don't bring your house problems to work, right? Have you heard of this? Yes, everyone has. Is it correct? Do you agree with it? Yes. Who said no? You said no? Why?
This affects this, and that affects that. So
But do you want everything to affect everything else?
no, but if you have like problems at home,
Yeah.
then that will affect like you in business as well.
Yes, it will.
So yeah.
But do you want it to affect?
What?
Do you want it to affect your life?
No, but it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So you know you have to deal with it. You have to deal with like problems. Sometimes you can ask a friend or, for instance, your spouse
Yes.
to help you with work-related problems. You know, to support you.
Of course.
And you can maybe ask your colleagues for advice if you're having problems in your house.
Of course.
So yeah.
Of course. But the concept of not taking your work problems to your house and your house problems to your work is basically not to take all the baggage with you all the time.
Yeah.
So you don't focus on all this negative and tiring basically baggage that you're having. So of course you can ask people, but it doesn't mean that you have to have it on your mind all the time.
Yes. Yes. Of
Right?
course. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, then
Shah.
if that's what you mean, then I agree with you.
Okay, thank you. And
I
yes.
disagree with what you said when you said he thinks personal problems, you should share them with the business. That's the first thing will affect the business by because if you like, like for example tell your personal stuff for a colleague in business, that's the biggest mistake you will ever do in your life, because that will affect the business and the profits, mostly because you won't be able to focus 100% in the business.
Correct.
That's the thing. You have to focus, put all your strategy, ideas, everything through the business so you can accept to the top.
Correct. 100%. Yes.
And
Correct.
it won't be ethical to have two ideas and two things in one place.
Yes. Correct. Correct. Very correct. And the thing is, I will push it a bit further. Again, there is no problem in asking for advice. Of course, we're not talking about this. We're talking about the baggage itself, as you said, the baggage itself that you take with you. And I'm gonna push it just a bit further and tell you not to take anything with you to anything else. And it's not only not to take your work problems to your business, to your home, and home problems to your business, but everything. So basically, now you're sitting here enjoying this amazing presentation, okay? And then you have a game of tennis. So you have to disconnect from this presentation and go focus fully on your game of tennis to make the best out of it. And then you have dinner with your parents, so you have to disconnect from the game of tennis, focus fully on the family time that you have to make the best out of it. And then you have coffee with your friends, you have to do the same. Disconnect from your family time and focus fully on your time with your friends. So basically, if we think about it, it's really going back to basics. And it's just live the moment. It's the art of enjoying the moment, of living the moment. And this is it. And this is where this came from, of don't take that to this. But have you ever heard someone telling you disconnect from your game of tennis? Have you ever heard someone telling you that? Very rarely, right? It's mainly for these two big categories in our life that are business and personal. And of course, business is an important part because one, we spend most of our time in it. Two, we spend time with people we don't necessarily want to spend time with. And three, because it's our bread and butter. But again, our life is not only business and personal. Our life is business, family, friends, I don't know, activities, my time, community service, everything. Everything is my life. And when I categorize my life for only two sections, it means that I'm forgetting the others, or I'm not focusing on them, I'm not enjoying them. So let's not forget the others, let's not simplify it, and let's break our life into so many categories and enjoy them all. But this is the first discrepancy that we do. The second one in me in business and me in personal is basically, I'm sure you've heard of the business personality, right? Now, you have these hundreds of books and articles and blogs and vlogs and what have you that tell you how to be a good manager and how to be a good leader, how to be a good salesman, how to. Do you agree with them? Do you agree with these articles and these books? Yes, please.
I disagree in everything that in social media, by the way. It's because
I like you already. Yes, I'm joking. That one.
it's because mostly, like, for example, if you talk about TV shows, it's a part of mind controlling. If you go through the social media, it's all mind controlling by the society. So if you stay away from all of these and focus on business mostly, because our subject is about business, that's the best idea you can do, and you can build a future so you can have fun and you can solve your personal problems with it.
Okay. Yes, I agree with you that
I
it's
kind of agree.
yeah. And you wanted to say something?
It's like just a guide. They guide you how to be better, how to be a leader.
Yes,
This
yes.
is like just
Yeah.
You cannot take all what they said 100%, but at least like 50%.
Yes, 100%. 100% what you say. And what I believe is that actually they're correct. They're correct. It's not that it's not. They're correct, but it's okay. Let's take an example. Okay, so basically, if you're a manager and you work with a team, okay, and your team is not cooperating well with you, so you decide, because you're a good manager, you decide first to do an introspection to see if you're doing something wrong. Okay. And you do it, you realize that you're not motivating your employees enough, or your team. So you decide to motivate them. For you to motivate them, you have to first of all have faith in them. You have to have faith that they're going to do their job. You have to trust them. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? Second, you have to accept them. You have to accept their faulty personality. You have to accept their errors in the workplace. You have to accept their different opinion. You have to accept them. Third one is you have to love them, because you want to give them a constructive criticism. You want to give them, you want to give them support. You want to help them progress basically in their work. I mean, so basically you have trust, you have acceptance, and you have love. And the three of them are not business values; they're human values. The three of them. So there's nothing called business personality. It's only a personality. It's one personality, it's a human personality. And when these values, we acquire them and we embed them in our personality, they become ours. So we don't only motivate our team, but we motivate everyone around us, because we acquire them as part of our personality. So at the end of the day, business or personal is exactly the same, because we're just one person. And we're one person with one personality. This is not working. Okay, we're just one person with one personality. We live in the world, and the world has many aspects. Our life has many aspects, not only business and personal. And when we're able to see this, and when we're able to realize this, we're also able to detach basically from our work. To detach, not to be careless. To detach from our work, to have a certain clarity. A clarity of what makes us full as a human being, what makes us whole as a human being. We will realize that whatever we aspire for in life, in business, I mean, is what we aspire for, dot. It's what we aspire for ourselves. It's exactly the same. And when we replace the business, by ourselves in whatever we do, then we'll be able to have a much deeper and much truer meaning and form to everything we do. And this will affect our life in all aspects of our life, even in business. Tell me.
What you can say about, for example, some people, their personality, they are very good, kind. But when it comes to business, they are very strict, and they just separate the feelings and everything. For example, let's say for example, the doctor. He's very good when you go to his office and everything, but when it comes to grade or something, no, he's very strict.
He's fair.
So, yeah.
He's fair, right? He's doing his job correctly. Professor Matthew, that's the biggest compliment. He's fair, right? He's being fair at the end of the day. And definitely at work, there's a lot of, how do you call this? It's very delicate. So sometimes when you're too friendly, people would take advantage. And again, this goes into the unethical word that that is happening. So it's really keeping this balance. But this balance, anyways, if we keep it in our life, we're going to be able to keep it in business. We think that it's only there. But if you go to the roots, this is it. If you go to the roots and to the biggest picture, bigger picture of yourself and your personality, you find that if you work on yourself anyways, everything else will fall in place. Thank you. So this is the first reason, in my opinion. Now, the second reason is twisted strategy. The second reason of why we have forgot what's behind the business, which is us human beings. And it's twisted strategies. So from these 100,000 of books, okay, and articles and blogs and all this, they tell you, as you said, that they give you a plan of how to be a good negotiator. They give you a plan of how to be a good manager. They give you a plan of how to be a good salesman. Okay? Do you agree with them? Do you think they're correct?
Maybe based on their experience or something for that they wrote.
Yes, and most of them, I agree, and most of them are correct actually. And the problem is not in their validity, but the problem is in their presentation. Okay? So we're going to go through a small extract from the 48 Laws of Power written by Robert Greene that we're going to read together and then see. Okay, there are many different kinds of people in the world, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. They are wolves in lamb's clothing. Choose your victims and opponents carefully, then never offend or deceive the wrong person. What do you sense from this article?
The thing is, I just read that some people when they spend. The thing is, the best idea is for like controlling everything and making everything stable is money, mostly money.
Okay.
We call it in Arabic fluis. The thing is, if he had money, the owner, he had money, he was rich or anything, he can pay extra money for his employees, not just for trust or anything, but to make them work, because money plays a huge role in life. And if you had that money, you can control some of the people.
This is what you get from this?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How? How?
There are many kinds of people, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategic the same way.
Okay.
So, yeah. The best idea is to use the strategy of money. For example, a question is, will you work without money? Impossible. Most rarely you will work for that.
Of course.
If there is no money, you won't do anything.
Right? We have to
Obviously.
have water. Yeah.
So if he kept paying people, they will just like him and do whatever he asks for. For example, 2012, Kony to 2012. He was in Africa. He controlled the army and everything, and he killed so many people. Why did he do that? How did he do that? That's the question. With money. Because money can give you power, and then you can gain the politics, and then you can do the business also.
That we're going to talk about money after this presentation. Because this is exactly what we're not talking about now. We're talking about ethics, right?
But it has everything
but
to
this
do with
is,
money.
you're right. No, I'm
know,
kidding.
but the
You're
thing
completely
is
right. And definitely money is power at the end of the day. And money is what is controlling the world, right? And this is what gives power. You're completely right. Completely right. You're completely right. In my opinion, at least, you're right.
So
but I want you to tell me what you sense, what you feel from this. Yes.
What I understood that is it like know your audience, so know who you're speaking to.
Yes.
Can I just speak? I don't like to speak. So yeah, it's like not everyone will agree with what you say. That's why it says know your opponent, so know who you're speaking to.
Yes.
And that's what I sense.
Yes, but you still, we're not, we still didn't get a feeling, okay, the feeling when you read that deceive or outmaneuver, when you read seek revenge, the wolves in lamb's clothing, choose your victims, okay, offend or deceive the other person, the wrong person. Actually, it's never offend or deceive the wrong person, so basically you can offend and deceive the right person. So this is it. No one could depict from you guys this negativity. There's a negative connotation. Now you're talking about the mind gaming. This is exactly it. This is exactly it. Mind controlling. It's this negativity. So yes, at the end of the day, we live in a world where we have to sometimes use these techniques, but I just want to ask you for something. Just whatever you read, whatever you listen to, whatever you see, whatever it is, just depict them. Just spot the negativity, spot the negative words, the harmful words, spot them, because this is what you're feeding your mind. And we all know that thoughts are going to be translated into actions. So if you feed your mind with negativity, this is how you're going to be behaving with other people, and this is how you're going to be with other people. So just spot them, spot the negativity. That's it. And then turn them into your mind into something more positive. So when you act on it, you act on a more positive note with other people. Just spot them. Now the second twisted strategy is networking. It's not twisted on its own, of course. And what is networking at the end of the day? Who can give me a very, very easy definition of networking? Connections, yes. It's relationships, right? It's as easy as relationships. So basically, if my car breaks at the end, in the middle of the road, I want to have enough people, enough connections, enough of a network of friends and family to come and help me. Yeah, actually, I need to call the police when my car breaks, but you know what I mean, like in any other circumstances or problem. So this is it, really. Just go back to basics, always. Go back to basics. What's networking? It's relationships. And from my personal experience, I can tell you that a selfish networking, because now this is how it's becoming. It's becoming more of a self-interest connection with other people, where I want to take everything I can from them. Where I can, one second, okay, where I can take everything I can from them. So it's very self-interest, selfish connection. And from my experience is when this networking is selfish, even if both parties agrees to have a selfish networking, then it's not sustainable. One party will sell the other for a dirham, maybe more. It's not sustainable. And sustainability is a word that we use a lot in environment. Environment is sustainable environment, sustainable energy, and we very rarely use it in our community. It's a sustainable community. And what does it mean? Sustainable community is to be able to live well together, is to be able to do good to each other. This is it. And it's the only way, not unfortunately, we live in a community whether we like it or not. So it's the only way to be able to sustain it. The only way to be able to sustain it is basically for us to be good together. So networking, go back to basics, it's only relationships. Human to human relationships. Now, the third twisted strategy, and the last one is the easiest. It's object personification versus person objectification. It's a tool or it's a technique that we use in marketing, that I don't use in marketing, but that we use in marketing in general, basically. It's very easy. We're not going to go a lot. We're not going to spend time on it a lot, because from the name of it, basically we give objects a person's quality and a person an object quality. Okay, so a car can be courageous, a drink can be happy, a woman can be an instrument, a man can be a machine. This is it, okay? And without further ado, really, because from this imbalance of reality, we see the twist in it. So a lot of what we learn make us forget the human and why we're doing the strategy to begin with. Okay, and we're feeding basically our mind in a lot of negative thoughts. And this is not the way to do it. It's not the way. Just remember that this is not the way to do it. At the end of the day, I'm not telling you not to be smart and not to strategize. I'm just telling you to strategize humanely. To strategize humanely and to think of what you're giving the other person in front of you. And this basically also benchmark everything against sustainability. Have a benchmark in your life. So whatever thought or action or word or anything you do, if you can benchmark them against sustainability and goodness, it will be basically your compass of what you're doing and your responsibility towards other. Go back to basics always. And a lot of us are fed up of being mistreated, misled, of being manipulated, of being angry at. A lot of us are. And the person sitting next to you is also fed up of the same thing. So imagine that. We're all fed up of the same thing. So for us to fix it, we have to fix our relationship first together and each take a responsibility for it.
So we have to head for the weak point.
No, and the contrary.
To control it, for example, to control a business by taking over, head for the resources and the suppliers, destroy them, and you can control them later.
This is exactly what we're talking about. This is what's happening, right?
Yeah.
I personally think it's not going to be sustainable. Everyone now, I don't know if you realize now that there's a spur of this, of these energy healing, yoga, meditation, and all these activities. And the government have these beautiful initiatives of the happiness, Ministry of Happiness. They have the Year of Giving, which was 2017. So everyone feels a bit agitated from this world because of this. Because of what you're saying. So if we don't want to feel agitated anymore, so why not do something about it? We have to do something. It's a responsibility. We live in a community. We cannot get out of it. But if you want to be happy in this community, then do something good for it. On a personal level. On a personal level, yani, I don't have to get angry on the car that hits me. I can be nice. Try, at least. I don't have to be selfish in my relationship. Because I will get, and trust me, and now we're going to talk about this later, that trust me, that even if you're ethical, you can get to whatever you want in the business world.
You have to be diplomatic.
Diplomatic and smart. You have to have something, right? You have to have something special. No need for unethical to have something special. You can have something special anyways.
Yeah, money.
No, special. Special. Money, everyone has money, right? Right? Everyone has something in their wallet at the moment. Not too much, yes, يعني بس في 5 دراهم. طيب. So, basically, strategize humanely and give what you ask for, and remember that you are what you have forgotten. We have forgotten to be ourselves. We have forgotten that we're the essence. We are the essence. We are the core. We are what makes or breaks the society. We are one person with one personality in all aspects of our life. We can grow and we can build on whatever we have. We and the relationships we have with others is the essence. And never ever forget that we are behind this business and behind this world anyways. Now, I'm going to leave you with one untwisted strategy, which is what I call the positively conditioned objective. Basically, it's adding a positive conditioning to each objective. So we all have objectives, right? Let's say I want to be the best cook ever in the world. I want to add to it a positive conditioning, like without harming anyone. So I want to be the best cook without harming anyone. We'll actually push it, because without harming anyone will neutralize it. So it will not do good and it will not do bad. So we're going to push it a bit further and make it positive. Like, I want to be the best cook ever in the world by giving as much support as I can to someone else, to all other people I can. So the objective is for me. The positive conditioning is for the community that I'm responsible for. Okay? And basically, I'm not talking about the big objectives of our life. I'm also talking, everything in life actually has an objective. If I want to have a coffee with my friend, I have an objective. I either want to vent out, I want to discuss some subjects. 1 second, I will do it. Okay, I will. Sorry for the interruption. So basically, everything has an objective, okay? Everything. A coffee with a friend would have an objective of venting out, or of discussing a subject, or anything it is. It has an objective. And when we know our objective, we'll be able to eliminate everything unnecessary along the way. So even for these small objectives, have a positive conditioning to it. And the ultimate objective of it all, for each one of us is to be happy. This is the ultimate objective of anyone in this world. And the ultimate positive conditioning is to be loving to others. And you can go down to all small objectives you have and apply this positive conditioning. And today I came with you with an objective, of course. I came with you to share my opinion that we're pushing business life a bit too far, and that we're acting with so-called reasonable, unethical actions just under the umbrella of business. And I came with a belief that we are the essence, and we're everything behind this life, and we can turn it. And for us to change the unethical world that a lot just have nodded at the very beginning when I asked the question, it has to change from a personal level, from an individual level, with a lot of work, a lot of persistence, and a lot of consistency. But we can do it and take responsibility. And my positive conditioning is to tell you this with a lot of love and acceptance of different opinions. And thank you very much. Thank you. You had a question, of course, right?
Yeah, so at this point, first of all, thank you. Let's give her another round of applause.
Thank you.
And then I know most of you, I hope, prepared questions for Alisar. So you can either ask those questions, or if something came to your mind as she was giving her presentation, it doesn't have to be the question you wrote, as long as you have a question or something you want to discuss and it's relevant to the conversation. Then by all means, I invite you to sit down. And I can run around with a microphone if you want the microphone.
Doesn't even work.
It doesn't have a hold it close. Hello. See? Luke, I am your father. See?
Each class enter fee.
Who's asking you?
No, not me.
No, each class I enter each classroom, I just read on top of the board. If you believe in yourself, nothing is impossible.
See the microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
About the happy part,
let's let her read her question.
everyone should be happy.
By order, 1 second. She was first, right? We have to be fair. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. How do we know that our life is not negatively affected by our work?
How do you know that your life is not affected by your work? You can sense it, no? How do you know? I think when your work takes a lot of your thinking, even if you're at home, and if you have this, you feel a negative feeling towards it, you would know. But are you asking how you'd know, or how you would fix it? You would fix it.
How to fix it also?
First of all, if you're not happy, you have to know the reason. If you're not happy at your job, and maybe fix this reason. And even if it means that you have to change careers, you have to change your job, you have maybe not to change anything, maybe you have to change something in you, but you have to know the reason of it. And we can talk more. If you have reasons, we can talk more.
Okay.
I don't later.
Thank you.
Yeah?
The thing I was going to say is one positive thing came up to my mind. Some people, they used to open like business outside the country, which is not allowed in some of the countries. So they
Okay.
get the profit and the money, instead of putting it in the banks, they get them by cash. So they open any other business, for example, money laundering, and then give the money for the poverty. That's a positive thing.
It's a positive. it's a nice one. It's a positive thing. Yes, it is a positive thing.
I know it's not allowed and everything, but if you give it to the poverty, it's صلوات والأعمال الخيرية, so I guess it's a positive thing.
So
Sure,
basically,
objective.
I can kill you, okay?
Yes.
I can kill you, take your
But
money and
making-
give it to the poor,
Yeah,
right?
for
And then
example,
what?
even-
And it will
even
be
in the-
something good.
Not that, not
What?
just that, not just that. Some people, they sacrifice themselves to save so many people. Example, a soldier, he jumps through, on a bomb that's going to explode. He kills, he dies in front of your eyes, and the rest, they're still alive to fight the war. Especially like even there in some of the countries, like it happened in Afghanistan sometimes, the Claymore bombing. A guy stepped on a Claymore. It happened in one of the movies also, in an American movie. The guy kept standing on the Claymore till he gets help. When he discovered that if he moved one step, everyone would die. So he just moved the step, he killed himself, and he saved the troops of the United States.
Okay, so here you have two actions, right?
Yeah.
The first action is the main action, okay,
Yeah.
that is done, which is first of all open a business outside the country,
Yeah.
right? Or money laundering,
Yeah.
basically. Money laundering is the first action, right?
Yeah.
The soldier sacrificing himself is the first action.
Yeah.
Okay. The second action is the money laundering, helping people in need. Okay.
Yeah.
Second action of the soldier is basically saving the rest. You have two actions for you to check or to benchmark basically against something good, which is money laundering and helping. So this one is an X, not good. This one is a check. This one is a check, and this one is a check.
Yeah.
So you have two actions. It's like when people tell you that you shouldn't be that nice. We were talking about this last time. We shouldn't be that nice, okay? And we shouldn't forgive all the time if we always get backstabbed, okay? The problem is not in forgiving. The problem is in not depicting who to trust and who not to trust, or not depicting basically the actions of how we can do things better basically together without being hurt. This is the problem. So back to your question, I'm going to ask you, if I kill you and give your money to the poor, is it something good?
Yes.
It's something good?
Yes. At least even
I rest my case then.
even for example, like even when people go to war or make a war, something happens, especially the people that they defend their
Can
countries.
I sit here? Yeah.
Okay. For example, let's say the Nazis, the Germans, and the Russians, Soviet Union. About Adolf Hitler, Soviet Union, they kept defending their country, and Adolf Hitler and his troops, they kept fighting to control the world. So what's the difference? Especially is these people, they defend their country by killing people, and these people, they killed the other people.
Yeah. To defend their
yeah.
I know.
That's the
it's
thing.
a very difficult question for me, Saraha. Because the thing is, I know that we cannot, one person, okay, except if we have the power and money that you were talking about, then you can control a very, very large group of the community or even military or anything. But for one person, for me only, I cannot do that. And I know that I cannot do that. What I can do is just be responsible of my actions. That's the thing. It's not بإيدي مش بإيدي يعني. Yes, please.
If you kill him and give the money to the charity, police will take you to the jail.
Yeah.
But about the soldier, if he kill him
Exactly.
people, the police will give him a gift.
Exactly. No, the first action is right. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm not going to kill you because I don't want to go to jail. Anything else?
Yes.
Hi, Alisar.
Hi.
I just have a question. I just want to know what inspired you to be the person that you are today and to do the things that you do today, like give the talks and the presentations.
Okay. Wallah, what inspired me? I don't know. First of all, my mother is very righteous, and she believes in all this pink world where everything is nice. But I don't know what inspired me. I was always very interested in philosophy, in neurology, in the human being basically, and how, and whether we were born good or bad, and all these philosophical questions. And before I had this very, very big anger basically against everything big that's happening and that we cannot control, as he was saying. And then you realize that it's only at the end of the day you can do whatever you can do, and you do your best at this moment, at this time, and there everything will unfold. And how I got here is basically from Professor Matthew, and by pure chance. And I already love talking and telling my opinion and debating, so it was just perfect, really. So I don't know what to tell you if something big inspired me, but I am a big believer that if we live here in this world, then we have to understand this world, and we have to understand what's coming in this world, what's happening and everything around us. Because it's not only about me and now living in a happy life, it's about everyone else around me. It's about the next generations and whoever is coming to this world. Because it's not my world, it's the world of everyone. So I have this big, big belief. So if I live here, I need to understand it, and I need to have a good impact on it. Otherwise, I see no point of being here. That's why. Thank you.
I have another question. Part of our discussion, it was about ethical and humanity. So in the modern now, slavery and child labor, do you think that it was because of the greed of satisfying or to satisfy the human needs?
Yes, of course, for the human needs. And it's not, and I believe that it's not that before we were ethical and now we're not ethical. No, it's really not that. And each generation and each time has its goods and bads. And now we have a lot of goods. Yani now there's a lot of freedom, a lot of acceptance of whatever it is, of other races, other genders, everything. So it's not that before they were good, and of course it was a need of humanity. The thing is, now it's more, yani, before it was bigger. Now it's even on a, hey, I feel that it's embedded in us. For example, there's a study that was made to know if, that shows actually that violence decreased throughout the years, okay? So you'd say, amazing, so violence is much less, so we're more loving to each other. But in reality, it's that violence did decrease because there was much more security, much more rules and regulations around it, okay? And it was, we're perfecting basically the regulations. But in reality, what's happening is we have more anger inside. So you cannot trust me more than before. I would lie more than before. I would be angry at you. I would be jealous at you more than before. So we're embedding them into our own character. This is what's happening. So even if violence, at the end of the day, even if violence is not as much as before, so even if I don't kill as much as before, I still am angry at you. And I have this grudge basically inside of me more than before. But yes, it is human needs. And yes, we are a balance of both. And I think that being perfection of being good all the time might be boring anyways, I don't know. But this perfection, I don't know if we can get to it, but what we can do is just try to balance and not to tip off the negative. Yani.
Any more questions? Other than Ben, or this side of the room has been a little quiet.
Yeah, you don't have anything there? You? Yes. Yeah? I'll ask, yeah. Why not?
Do you ever think it's okay to, in business, of course, this is all about business. Do you ever think it's okay to betray someone's trust or backstab someone for a, just in business, if you're like having a deal with someone and you go around it or something like that, do you think that's justified?
First, before I answer, I want to tell you that the whole point is not business of this presentation, that the whole point is business and life and personal and everything is the same. So to betray in business, no, it's not.
Ethics, I mean like ethics when it comes to business.
No, for me it's not acceptable at all.
It's not acceptable.
No.
Yeah, I agree
At
with
all.
that then, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be a good businessman because of that.
No, I think
because
you
in
can.
today's world I think you have to, but I just can't.
Don't backstab. No.
I can't
Don't
even if
listen
I
to him.
wanted.
But it's really difficult. It's really, the thing is, it's really, really difficult because, yes, and now we see that sometimes if you don't do this, you will not be able to get whatever you want. But I still think that we can do it.
Without hurting anyone.
Without hurting anyone. And I think that we can do it if we're smart enough. If we're not smart enough, we cannot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree completely. Thank you
it.
so much.
Thank you.
We might have one more. I think we do.
How we can finish our stress in our business when we are in stress or something.
Okay, that's a solution. Yeah, I'm joking. It's me. I think it's me, right? Because I'm too close. How we can remove stress. First of all, you have to understand that your work is not you. That's the first thing. To detach from your job, that your job does not define you and it doesn't define your life. That's the first thing. To have your own identity, and work is just something you do. It's like when you play tennis, it's exactly the same. That's the first thing. Second thing, meditation, I say. Just sit quietly with yourself, and meditation is something I very much like. Yeah. And yes.
The best thing is you express out your feelings and you speak to someone or push all your anger toward one thing that will hurt others. That's the best choice. You feel relief.
Yes. Definitely. كمان it's a way. Definitely. I think, I personally think that the very, very first step is just, first of all, to detach yourself from your work. And then you can do sports, you can do any other activity, you can vent out to friends, you can do all this. But first of all, just understand that work is not you. Work is just work. And I am full anyways. I'm alone anyways. I'm good anyways. And even if I have problems from work, it will not affect me as much if I'm detached from my work. That's the first umbrella, basically. And then under this umbrella, you go into, you can do sports, you can vent to your friends. If you have a problem, you can ask for advice, of course, all this. The first thing is to detach from your work.
There was a doctor who was just, he used to have lots of anger. He used to do some human tests. His name is Dr. Joseph Mengele. And he used to feel relief.
What did he used to do?
He tortures bodies like dead bodies.
Yeah, you can do that, but I don't recommend. It will not be in my recommendation list. That's for sure. The thing is, you can do whatever you want. It's me, right? Yeah. You can do whatever you want. For example, okay, you can go kill human beings and feel good, right? You can do that. It's not that we cannot. We are capable. Human beings, we're capable of that. It's just that use your mind, okay? Because there's a very simple equation. If we're all bad, okay, to each other, at the end of the day, we're going to create the biggest massacre ever in life, right? And if we all hate each other, if we're all bad, it's going to get into a big war zone, and that's it, right? Do you want to be in a war zone? Do you want to be afraid that you're going to be dying? Do you want to be this? No. No one does, right? So what's the alternative? Just let's create a better environment. That's it. So you use your mind into this simple logic, it's nothing. It's a very, very simple logic. Do I want to get? Because everything evolves in life and nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Everything evolves, and this is what you were talking about at the very beginning. Everything evolves, and if we're evolving into more unethical, into a more unethical world, at the end of the day, we're going to get to a point where everyone hates everyone else. Okay, or everyone, it's going to be a war zone. Do we want this? No. Then, okay, let's do something else. Let's try it. And let's try to keep this balance, at least, between good and bad. So use your mind. Yes, you want to go stab other people so you'd feel good. You can. Is it something good? Even in business, you have a long-term objective, right? But the problem is that we think of our long-term objective in our lifetime only. We don't think about it as a collective living in this planet all together. We don't think that there are other people that we're going to hurt along the way that are going to be born in 50, 60, 100 years. It's a responsibility. It's a collective responsibility, really. So when you use your mind, don't use it to go backstab someone. Use it for something good. Just for the simple logic that this is the only way to keep life going. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
And thank you all for your thoughtful and very interesting questions.
Yes.
As always.
And answers.
Yes. So, on behalf of the class and the university, I
Wow.
wanted to give this gift that seems to be very gravity affected right now, but hopefully it'll stay. I don't know.
Wow, that's great.
See, gravity. So, it's a little AUE medal. So
That's
now you can say
amazing.
you won a medal for your.
Yes, yes. Thank
So
you
there you
very,
go.
very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Matthew.
This is one of the-
Thank you. It's amazing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so
Really.
much.
And thank you for this opportunity and for being here for the second time. It was really a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you again, and thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for coming and for participating. Thank you so much. We're good. Halal.
Yeah? Khalas. Now we can go. Thank you very
You're
much,
welcome.
Matthew. This is very
It's not in
thoughtful.
this bag. I don't know why that's falling over.
No, it's fine. This is very, very thoughtful. Because this one is a bit, it's
Actually,
not,
you're probably
it's
an
not,
expert at things
yeah.
like this. Yeah. Maybe we should connect you with the. This is aha. Did you get this? I can get you a better one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Bye.
Bye. تشرفنا.